Hey everybody, welcome back to Zippy Industries. As always, I'm Chris. Today we are going to be tackling the wiring harness for the Mark II. So this is what we have. This is the lighting system, headlights, turn signals, all that stuff for the Mark II. This is the factory stuff. This is the Mark III harness. So on the Mark II harness, if you're not familiar, there's separate harnesses in the engine bay. There's one for the motor, one for the lighting system, and then a third one for all the instrument cluster pieces. The Mark III, all that stuff is in one harness. All right, so you see back here, the yellow, the white, all that stuff, it's all in one. Whereas this one, the yellow ones are going to be your lighting for on the Mark II. All right, see this one here has a separate one. Then there's a whole other harness that I've already pulled out. I don't have it in here because I don't need it. That one was for the 1.6 that was in there, the 8 valve, and that one altogether we don't need it. We stripped it out and we won't be using it. So what we're going to do today is strip the Mark III harness down. We're going to take all the coverings off and strip the headlight harness and all this stuff in there that we don't need. There's a few plugs and stuff that Mark III has, some extra creature comfort type deals. We're going to get rid of all that, so it's bare minimum harness that we need. The Mark II, we're going to rewrap all this stuff. The main thing is I'm going to take these boots off of this one and put them onto that one, so that way everything fits all nice and pretty in the Mark II, and it looks factory as we can be. But this guy here, as you can see, it is old. It is a 91. It's had a little bit of rough life, but there's a few things in here that we got to pull out. So like these positives and grounds, they're already in that harness, and the way they're set up in the Mark III harness is a lot cleaner than they are in the Mark II. The Mark II, they run all the way up directly to the battery, so you have extra wires running up and off, whereas the Mark III, it is a body harness or a body ground right here. This goes to the main body ground on the chassis, and then the positive runs over to here and runs onto our starter, so everything's nice and tidy. This part I'm not even going to touch. I'm going to clean this up, but I'm going to leave it exactly the way it is. Everything from here back we are going to rewrap. What we're going to use is this cloth tape. Alright, so this is like the factory Volkswagen stuff. On the newer stuff, your Mark IVs and stuff have this cloth tape. So I have 2 rolls, which should be plenty. I was going to wait and do all this later, but looking in the engine bay, there's a lot of stuff and it looked really unkept, and it's going to drive me nuts. And leaving all this extra wiring in there for the wiring harness and whatnot, or the lights, just isn't going to cut it. So we were going to do this later after we pulled the motor to paint it, but that's probably going to be a while. It's probably going to be a couple years before we do that. So until then, we're going to clean up our harness, make it look all nice and pretty and tidy and clean. And then when we do go to pull it out to paint it, that'll all be done, and it's one less thing we got to deal with. Because at that point, it really should just be painting it and not dealing with any mechanicals, because all the mechanicals are brand new in that car. So after we get all this sorted out, after we get this thing on the road, really the only thing left on that car is a paint job and finish the interior. And the interior, all we got to do is the door cards. We have the Recaro LXs in there. They've already been recovered. We just have to do some door panels to match, and then the interior will be done. So the car overall is really close, but that paint has seen better days. Red does not do well with weather. It definitely gets a beating. So on the top, on the roof, you can see where the primer's starting to come through. So, and it's oxidized pretty heavy. I've already buffed it a few times to try and get some shine back, and it's hammered. So yeah, enough rambling. Let's get to it. Damn it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to tear apart this harness, and I'm going to take out all the headlight and turn signal stuff. Strip all that out, and that harness will become about half the size that it is now. So let's get to that. Alright, so you see the Mark III one, we have it all uncovered. That's all the stuff we took off. Didn't really take, probably took half an hour or so. So not too bad. So we're going to pull the light harness out now, and then see what else we can take out and see what we finally end up with, and then we'll tackle the Mark II one. This is our final strip down harness for the Mark III. This is all that yellow harness, all the lights. Alright, so you see we lost about half the harness. So it's a lot cleaner. We'll tape some of this together, and then we'll get our each strand done. Before I final tape this, I'm going to put it back in the car. That way I can put these boots in the right spot and route the harness through where I want it, and then I can tape we can tape the bends in, because if you tape this thing straight and you go try to put it in the car and you try to bend it, it's going to fight you. Yeah, I learned that lesson a long time ago with my first harness, and that was not fun. So we'll put it in the car, I'll route it how I want it to after I tear the other harness apart, and then we'll put tape in certain spots where we want it to be bent, and after that we can fully wrap this thing, and back in the car it goes. Our Mark II harness, that's the final one. Pulled out the power wire for the fuse block because the Mark III one has it in there, and the excite wire for the alternator because we're going to use the Mark III stuff. It's already in there, it's nice and tidy, it works well. So really had to pull a couple things out. The only other thing I got to do on this is transplant the tack wire. This guy right here, this red black wire, or yeah, red black wire, it goes down to one of these pins to this guy. So I gotta transfer that on that one because right now the tack doesn't work because the Mark III the signal comes from the ECU, and on the Mark II it comes from the TCI and the coil. So gotta run that wire, gotta get that in the harness, and then we'll be good to go. So after that we get to put everything in the car, I got to pull these boots off of this one or one of the other harnesses and swap it to that one, which is going to be fun because I have to unpin all this stuff or try and stuff it through in order to get that boot on. So that's going to be super time consuming, but in the end it'll be worth it. It'll give us a lot nicer product and it'll fit in exactly how it was from the factory. So with Mark III wiring that looks like it came in this car originally. So that's the end goal, and that's what we're going to do. So let's get to it. We got everything. I got the Mark II boots. I had to take all of these pins out, put them through here one at a time, put them back in. Thanks to this kit, this is a Schwaben brand, but it's a master pin kit. It has everything. There's the name of it. I ordered this from ECS Tuning years ago. When I did the R32 swap in my coupe a number of years ago, I bought that kit because there's a lot of pins you gotta swap to do the Mark IV wiring and the Mark II. But anyway, enough of that. So we got the boot on both ends. This is where it goes through the firewall. This is where it goes through the rain tray up into the top part where the ECU goes. So as you see, I haven't taped it yet. I just have it taped down here to keep everything tidy. It looks like I've missed one. That's for my wipers. I gotta put that one in. But this is our factory Mark II wiring. This is all of our lights, all that stuff here. It also controls our fan switch, our radiator fans. This is the relay for that. We're going to use the Mark II the Mark II radiator fans because first of all, we're not running AC, and secondly, it's a lot simpler system. The Mark IIIs and whatnot use a big fan control unit, and the Mark II doesn't use any of that. It uses a simple relay to kick it on and off. So it has a sensor that's in the radiator. So a lot simpler system, a lot easier to wire, a lot less stuff, a lot less clutter in the engine bay. So if later on, if we swap out to something else, we'll address it then. But so basically now what we're going to do is we're going to put this back in the car just like it is, mainly to make sure I didn't fuck anything up, and that the car still works, so that it still runs. The other part of that is we're going to place these boots into the holes in the body, and then that'll give us our location that we need them to be, and then we're going to tape them. We're going to mark and tape where they need to go, and then we can route our wiring and figure that out, and then from there on we can wrap this thing. So I want to put it in the car, that way we can route it where we need to be, and then we can wrap it with the bends in place, because if you try and wrap it with a straight, like I was saying yesterday, it's just going to be straight and it's not going to bend. So if we wrap it with the bend in it, then it'll conform to that shape, and then when you go put it back in, it'll lay right in place and you won't have any issues. So it should be a pretty nice install. So yeah, let's get it back in the car and make sure everything's good to go. Alright, so we have all of our looms back in. This is our engine loom. You see it runs up to the top. This is where ECU goes, the stock location. I gotta modify this so the ECU will fit in that stock piece. So this is our ECU loom. You see it's on top there in the back. The lights one is on the bottom and it runs up here. It'll run in this channel where it runs in the factory. So I got everything hooked up. The car does run, still runs, so you know, that's good. I did get the tack hooked up, so that works now. All unnecessary wiring is removed, so there's no loose pigtails or anything in there. The only one that I did leave was the connection for the fog lights, just in case in the future if we decide to change the look of this car and we end up putting fogs in it, the connector's still there. That's the only one, and it's hidden in the back anyway. So we're gonna start taping this thing and getting it in place, and then finish it up. Everything wrapped and back together here. As you see, everything is nice and tight. It runs down for the ECU, runs down the back there. Glare out. Runs down there, and then all that runs out to this kind of factory style, and then up here. So yeah, engine loom comes through here, so it runs over. So only thing I got left to do is wrap the O2 sensor wiring, but I'm gonna wait on that because I don't know where I'm running it yet. So, but yeah. Other than that, it's pretty clean. So I think that's gonna do it. So, but yeah, that's I think that's gonna do it for this part. Got all the wiring in, so that's good to go now. So the last things we got to do for this, I got to put an O2 sensor in and wire that up, and then I got to hook the clutch and the shifter cables up, and then finish the intake, and then it'll be ready to go. So we're almost there. A few more things, and this is going to be roadworthy. So stay tuned. Take care.